Good evening. I hereby call this regular meeting of Nacogdoches ISD Board of Trustees to order. Let the record show that a quorum is present and notice of this meeting was posted as required by Texas Open Meeting Act. Board member Mr. James Montoya is unable to attend tonight's meeting. Thank you for joining us tonight, and ask to please remember that items on the listed is not going to be on the order necessarily. Thank you. At this time, the board will conduct executive closed session. The board will now conduct executive closed session to discuss items posted on our agenda pursuant to the following provision of Texas Open Meeting Act and as allowed by Texas Government Code sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, and 551.129. No voting will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as the result of discussions in closed meeting will take place after the board reconvenes into open session. Time now is 5:02. board now is in open session.
back.
However, we're gonna go to recess until
back.
6 o'clock.
Back from open.
Back to the
Back in
open.
open session, yeah.
Color guard. Hold. Left. Face.
I have to read that.
Go ahead, Coach Fox.
Freeze in. Colors.
Okay. Tonight, we are honored to have the color guard from Navy National Defense Cadet Corps from Nacogdoches High School. The NNDCC program is led by Chief Robert Jones. Our students march in and present the colors. Then sponsor Mr. Aaron Cortez and representative from Nacogdoches High School Student Council will lead us to the pledges. After all, everyone please remain standing until the color guard dismissed.
Thank you, Coach. A couple of more announcements I need to make. First, we've got two student council students here, sophomores Kimber Quinn and Timothy Sparks. They're going to handle the pledges. We also have Akasha Garcia here. She is a senior member of the choir at Nacogdoches High School. She is going to perform the national anthem for us.
Okay.
Present colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ready. Good.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now for the Texas flag. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Carry. Colors. Left. Face. Forward. March.
Okay. Be seated. Okay, at this time, I ask our newest board member, Michelle Brady, to give us invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, creator of the heavens and the earth, we ask, Lord, for your blessings of grace and peace upon our assembly tonight. We ask that you would guide, lead, and direct us, and may all that we do here tonight be pleasing in your sight. In Christ's name, amen.
Right. Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, we have some recognition, and Mr. Les Landbarger will start. And we start with McMichael Matt Counts.
Coach, hold on just a moment, if you can. I think we need to get a picture here of our... Okay. Man, I got a lot of stuff happening here behind me, so, yes, go ahead.
Okay, McMichael Matt Counts.
Yes, sir. Good evening, President Niramon, Board, Dr. Myers. The Math Counts team from McMichael Middle School is here once again this year. 6 of their students qualified for the state Math Counts competition held in March in Irving this year. And I want to introduce Gerald Fonzie, principal at McMichael Middle School.
All right. Good afternoon, President Niramon, board members, Dr. Myers. And so I have the pleasure of introducing in front of a wonderful crowd tonight. And so I'm going to ask my Math Count students and their sponsor to come on up. And so just to give you a little background of how tough this competition is, only 48 middle schools across the state of Texas get to compete at the state level. And so that kind of makes McMichael at the top 2 or 3% across the state. And so also, this is the 12th straight year they've gone to state. And so we continue. And so I'm going to go ahead and introduce the members we have here. We do have some that are not here tonight. We have one of our students who's in Japan actually right now. And then there are some others that were out for personal reasons. So I'm going to introduce the guys that are here. We have DeAndre Whitaker, who's an 8th grader. Brandon Randolph, who's also an 8th grader. Ashton Milstead, who's a 6th grader. And a little bit about Ashton. We had 2 6th graders make it to state, and they outscored all the 8th graders at the competition. And so we're looking to go back to state next year, right? And so without this next person I'm going to introduce, some of this would not be possible. And so Mr. Watts, who's the sponsor of the Math Counts team, has put in a lot of work, with our students. And so he is going to be leaving us at the end of this year. And so I kind of want, this is a good way to send him off. And so he's left the Math Count teams in great hands. I do believe we'll be headed back to state because he's just set that standard for us. And so, Mr. William Watts.
Mr. Fonzie, if I say they are walking calculators, I'm correct?
You would be correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
It's Brady. The principal is from Arkansas, too. He's from Arkansas.
Okay, Mr. Lineberger, this is next, Nacogdoches High School State Qualifiers.
Yes, thank you, President Niramon. And it's one step farther than state qualifier. This is the track and field high jump state champion in Class 5A, Micah Lockett. Now I can go on and on about this, but Coach House, are you back there somewhere? Oh, come on up here. I'll let you give a description here of what all he did this year.
Thank you. For those that don't know, obviously Micah is a state champion, but what they also don't know is he's number 2 in the state of Texas in high jump and number 3 in the nation. So this being his second year doing high jump, he went to state last year and came in 5th with a bad taste in his mouth. He really was tied for 3rd. but because of misses, and so he came back. Last year he jumped 6'8". This year his PR was 7'1". With the jump of 6'8", that's actually the jump that won him the state championship. And he went on up to 7 foot, and then instead of just going 7'1", he went for the state record of 7'2" and just barely missed it. But we're coming for that record next year. One last thing about Micah, you know, he's a phenomenal kid. If any of you have gotten the chance to know him, he's a great human being. He's a great athlete. He's a multi-sport athlete. He's what you would draw up in a lab for a student athlete. He's great in the classroom. He's great on the field. Never have to worry about grades. But we're just so lucky to have him part of our program, and we're gonna bring back another goal next year. And also, if you get a chance, which I don't know if many of us will, but he'll be in Oregon at the Nike track and field outlet. He's been our track and field meet up in Oregon that's pretty big. It's for the entire nation, and they only hand select a few people to go to it. So he'll be going to that this summer, correct? And so let's root him on.
Micah, congratulations. Tell your mom hi.
Great job.
One last thing, and I forgot to do it. He unfortunately couldn't be here, but Coach Brown was his track and field coach, and man, how many Saturdays and Sundays they came up here jumping and staying, because we get rained out throughout the week. Everybody who's been in Nacogdoches long enough, it rains 4 or 5 times a week, so they came up on the weekends. He would open it up for them on Saturdays, late at night, whenever they get a chance. And so I want to thank Coach Brown, even though he couldn't make it tonight. He had other family engagements, but I'm so fired up for this group because both of them are coming back next year.
President Miramont, a great visual for what Micah is able to do is if you look up here at the top of the door jamb, that's what he's going over.
Wow.
My goodness.
Wow.
That's impressive. Now we have CTE Skills USA.
Board, I think you might remember from last month, I promised we're going to have a lot of announcements here on CTE, and we do. And some of our students are not going to be able to be here tonight, and one group, Sean Lucina, our Director of Career and Technical Education, will talk about as well. It's our cosmetology students who are also graduating in a Lamar State College event tonight. And they went to that, understandably, instead of coming here. And that's the beginning of the first step in quite a progression of what we're going to be able to do in our CTE department going forward. We're going to have more of those opportunities where our students are graduating with a lot of college credit. But let me bring Mr. Lucina on up here and he can describe all this.
Good evening, School Board President Niramond, school board members, Superintendent Dr. Myers. Well, it's been exactly a month ago when we stood here and recognized our state competitors. There were so many we had to break it up into a couple of board meetings. So this is the other half. It's still a little light. We had a lot of scheduling conflicts. A lot of students have jobs and other obligations. Just like Mr. Linebarger said, the cosmetology students, the first round, this is their 3rd year in dual credit cosmetology. They're actually walking the stage to accept their college credit tonight in Livingston. So it's an incredible opportunity. There's no way we're going to miss that. I'm going to recognize every student that competed at Skills USA. And so they're going to raise their hand when their name is called. For cosmetology, under the instruction of Jan Holland, Samaya Mallard, and she competed in natural hair care and braiding skills. Alexis Gibbs, natural hair care and braiding skills. Ana E. Martinez for nail care skills. Yoreli Lopez, eyebrow specialist. And I know some of you are like, oh, I have to give her a call. Andrea Laura, makeup specialist. Alexis Gibbs, again, braiding specialist. Samaya Mallard, again, for braiding specialist. And these are separate events. Yasmin Russ, a braiding specialist. Sierra Reynolds was elected Skills USA District 7 officer, which is a huge honor. Mieri Luna was also elected as a Skills USA District 7 officer. For automotive, under the instruction of Mr. Stan Warren. Joshua Knapp, auto maintenance and light repair. I know, gentlemen, we have stuff for you too. Christian Kobos, auto maintenance and light repair. Oh, and they both did tool ID. All of them did tool ID. Angel Garcia, auto service technology and tool ID. Andres Mejia, tool ID. Culinary arts, under the instruction of Ms. Leslie Bortz. Brittany Mendoza, wedding cake design. I know. Jahaney Henry, wedding cake design. Sherilyn, how do you say your last name, Sherilyn?
I spelled it wrong. I knew I was.
That didn't look right. Cisneros. And Janet West, Timothy Sparks. All culinary students. Timothy, right here in the blue shirt, made my birthday cake this year. All right. Absolutely amazing. It looked like an island beach. It was incredible. A graphic design under the instruction of Mrs. Mary O'Cray. She had a family emergency and could not be here. We have Amar Garcia. She competed, all of them competed in audio visual quiz bowl. So Amar Garcia also did sublimation. LeJaren McDonald, AV quiz bowl. Lourdes Leon, AV quiz bowl. Lexi Rios, AV quiz bowl. Megan Fox, AV quiz bowl. Wyatt Russell, AV quiz bowl and graphic communications. Elena Diaz, screen printing. Leon Saldana, desktop publishing. Construction, we have two teachers, Mr. James Mason and Mr. Michael Bentley. Giovanni Servine, masonry. Adalberto Hernandez, electrical construction wiring. Christopher Doroteo, electrical construction wiring. I have to say something. Adalberto, he did the skills test. That test is hands-on, 7 hours long. And he is incredible. Next, we have FCCLA, and I had to make a note because I never can put the right words in the right order. That stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. Under the instruction of Mrs. Carla Coffey, we had Ingrid Cruz. I watched her at competition in Waco, and she placed and got to compete at state in an event called Texas Mystery Basket, where you get a basket of ingredients and you have to make something out of it, which is incredible. It was steak, yes. And then Miley Holman, she competed in Texas Toys, where you had to create an educational toy for a student. Last, we have FFA under the instruction of Ms. Taylor. Floriculture, I'm not 100% sure what that is, but it is something in FFA. Our state qualifiers, Sebastian Darville, Sophia Shahan, Hayden Vardaman. These other students were not able to be here under the instruction of Mr. Shaddix, Ethan Wiggins, Rafael Garcia, John Bastian, Anissa Duffield, they competed in an event called Home Site, where they analyze everything about a plot of land, from the soil to what's growing, the trees, the elevation change, everything you want to know about a piece of land. They have to go and evaluate it on a piece of land they've never seen before. So incredible talents, incredible skills that's coming out of Nacogdoches High School, out of the CTE department. Again, thank you for your time for this recognition. You're going to see a lot more from this department.
Sean, I'd like to say thank you for these students who demonstrated their skills, not just with their hands or their mouth, but with their brains, okay? And they had teachers, mentors, and they had people who have sponsored them or supported them from our community. And I want to thank them for the community support. And for the people that are not here that are graduating from Lamar, I want to thank all the teachers that became certified so that those students could have dual credit. And that was a lot of work, and we appreciate all the people that did these extra things so that these students can excel in what they're interested in doing and what it's going to lead to in their lifetime. I get on the top and I say, no me corte la cabeza. Good job, good job.
Okay, all right. I think I can see everybody. So you're right there, and you step, yeah, right there. Okay, let's see. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Camera's on up. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Wonderful.
Mr. Linebarger, now we go with the Student Advisory Council.
Thank you, President Neermond. I'm going to ask Michael Martin, our Deputy Superintendent, to come up here. Mr. Martin worked with the Student Advisory Council this year, and he's going to introduce students. Many of them are not here tonight, and one of the things that hasn't been mentioned that's going on, it's the first night of the Dragonette Spring Show. So we're going to have a number of students out who are associated with that as well. And I am going to turn this over to Mr. Martin right here.
All right.
Good evening, President Neermond, members of the board, Dr. Myers. It is an honor to be here this evening, especially to talk about these young folks standing before you. This is a great group of young men and women who come together starting out in 7th and 8th grade, going all the way to their senior year, being a part of an advisory board that comes to the District Support Center to talk with myself and the other cabinet members and the superintendent from time to time to find out what's going on in student life. How are things going on the campus? And they go back to their peers and they ask those folks how things are going, what's going good, what's not going so well, and also how we can improve as a school district. So these are our folks. This is only 4 of them. There's about 14. And we had a meeting earlier today. We missed a few of our folks because they are participating in other activities. But I do want to just call out their names here. We have Ella Furnace, she's a senior. Derek Polo, he is also a senior. Ava Grace Van Coy, she has graduated from Margie Chumley earlier this month. Natalia Ochoa, a junior. We have Joel Jones, a junior. We have Joel Denby, who was a sophomore. Gabriela Shavira, who is a sophomore, Anderson Montez, who is a freshman, Maggie DeMarcajon, she's not here tonight, she is a freshman, Kendall Lambert is a freshman, and Jamalyn Rogers. Let's give them a big hand, please. President Farshid, one more thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the folks who pull this together every week, every month. I'm sorry, Ms. Denise Ochoa and Ms. Nancy Ard, Ms. Holly Anderson. I want to say a huge thank you to those folks. They help us get these folks together. Also to all of our guest speakers. To all of our guest speakers who come and talk with the students, Dr. Hill, Dr. Welsh, Mr. Whitaker, Mr. Tarvin, Ben, and Mr. Z. I want to thank all those folks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Lineberger, now we are presenting NISD's community ambassadors.
Thank you, President Niraman. 12 Nacogdoches ISD community ambassadors had their first meeting way back on September 19th. That day, they toured our CTE facility, and in the meetings that took place in subsequent months, they saw different facilities, different campuses around the district. They also heard reports from key personnel within the district, and it allowed them to kind of get a peek at the way Dr. Trujillo described it, you know, kind of pull back the curtain and let them see how a school district runs here in Nacogdoches. This is an opportunity that Dr. Trujillo viewed as a way to engage with stakeholders and just give them a little bit more information about how a school district operates. And board members nominated the people that are in the community ambassadors, and they each nominated someone, and tonight we're going to recognize those ambassadors and provide them with a token of the district's appreciation. So, ambassadors, when I call your name, please come on up here, and then stay up here for just a moment, because as you've probably figured out, we're going to take a picture as well. And Ms. Anderson's going to help me here with the presentations. Okay, to begin with, Board President Farshid Niraman nominated Dana Cooper and Natalie Ruckel. Dana and Natalie, if you're here. Dr. T.C. Groman nominated Victor Martinez and Lori Pruitt. James Montoya nominated Flora Farrago and Juan Gonzalez. Ms. Farrago could not make it tonight. Juan, there's Juan. The Reverend Callie Pitcock nominated Kate Lardu and Jackie Hook, and Ms. Hook could not be here tonight as well. Mindy Winslow nominated Matthew Malloy. The Reverend James Irvin nominated Wayman Jackson and Vernis Moore. Mr. Jackson could not be here for tonight's meeting, and I'm also saddened to report that Mr. Moore passed away earlier this spring, but we wanted to be sure that we mentioned his name tonight as well. Leah Beth Apt nominated Chris Morrison. Well, thank all of you for who participated, and board members, why don't you come on down here to get a picture with the two ambassadors who are in attendance tonight?
All of us?
Yes. Yes, board members.
All right. On three. 1, 2, 3.
At this time, we have NISD Leadership Academy. Presenter is Dr. Hill, Dr. Welsh, and Mr. Zemanek.
Hey, well done.
Yes.
That is a round of applause worthy statement there. I'm impressed. Good afternoon and howdy to President Nearmond, board members, and Interim Superintendent Myers. My name is Charles Zemanek. Everybody just calls me Mr. Z, and I'm the Director of Human Resources. And tonight I'm super excited to get to introduce to you our Leadership Academy participants. Let me get my sheet here so I know their names and can pronounce them as best as possible. As an old pre-K principal, I learned awards go real well if I have the award recipients line up right there, and that way when I call your name, you're easy. So if you were in our Leadership Academy, if you will stand in that landing way for me. There we go. It'd make my life real easy. Interim Superintendent Myers and board members, these individuals, 14 of them, not all of them were able to be here today, did an outstanding job. They volunteered their time. They are interested in being, whether it's a teacher leader, a member in our operations team, or an aspiring assistant principal one day. I cannot overstate the dedication that they had, and my thanks to my colleagues who stepped in and served as facilitators for each session. So without further ado, Dr. Hill, the very first one, it's in an order. Oh dear. That's all right. We'll make it work. The very first participant today is Bailey Joe Davis. And my friends, if you will hold your applause, I'll get them all up here. I remember. I'll get them all up here, and then the wonderful Mrs. Z, who has a much more exciting job than me, will get a picture of everybody. Let me have Cynthia Smith, Amy King, Jennifer Hayes, Kendra Welch. Oh, I'm going too fast. I don't have Miss Turner to tell me to slow down. Jessica Maynard, Anna Marie Story, Lisa Anthony. Oh, yeah. Woo. Jordan Mathaney. Ashley Schmidt. Morgan Hamlin. Oh, there you go. BQJ showing out. Lizbeth Monter. Yep, another Brooks Quinn. And I am going to try my best to pronounce this name. Spell it might be worse, you know, I'm dyslexic and I have a terrible accent. But Ashley Dharmaki, oh Lord, there we go. Dharmaki, well. Woo, thank you. There's way too many syllables for me to pronounce in one sentence. And then Miss Bola Adenuga. You may.
Okay, we have Teacher Incentive Allotment, better known as TIA recognition, and Mr. Harold Whitaker, Assistant Superintendent in charge of Human Resources.
Good afternoon, President Neermond, board members, and Interim Superintendent Myers. I have the great honor this evening to highlight several of our teachers who've earned a TIA, better known as Teacher Incentive Allotment designation through the Nacogdoches ISD's local designation system. So I just want to take a brief moment to shout out different departments of the district, because this is a collaborative, humongous effort in working with the Teaching and Learning Department. So Ms. Ashley Boyette, Dr. Jolene Corley, Dr. Hill, and Dr. Welsh. Also our consultant, Ms. Betsy Cook. And thank you, of course, to all our principals and assistant principals who put the work in evaluating our teachers. So thank you to our principals and assistant principals. Again, also collaboratively working with the business office and PEIMS department. So it's a great work effort of making sure data goes in correctly and entering into our PEIMS department, as well as those payouts through the business office. So last year, if you remember, board, we had 10 teachers come forward with a designation. I can probably say that we have 22 teachers this year being put forth for designation. Wow. So I think Dr. Groman. And so we may have some who are not here tonight, but every person will be recognized. And so we have a wonderful certificate thanks to our communications team, those are signed by our superintendent, Dr. Myers, as well as board president, Mr. Neermond. So as I call your name up, please, and the building principal will also be recognized as well. So we have Sarah Garza, we're starting with Regay Elementary. She is a recognized designation. Again, of course, the building principal for Regay is Ms. Julia Wells. So. And as I call your name, please come forward to be recognized. We have Coleman Hampton from Regay, recognized designation. We have Elizabeth Hutchins from Regay, recognized. We have Michelle Lawson, Regay, recognized. We have Wendy Wallace, Regay, recognized designation. We also have Deborah DeCambray for Regay designation. Absolutely. We have Ashley Spain from Regay, recognized designation. I believe she's unable to be here tonight, but definitely deserves a round of applause. We have Stephanie Roselle, exemplary designation. We also have, so moving on to TJR, Thomas J. Rusk Elementary, where Ms. Paula Harshberger is principal. We have Ms. Denise Cantu, exemplary designation. We have Ms. Maria Landeros, TJR, with a master designation. All right, now we have McMichael Middle School, where Mr. Gerald Fonzie is principal. We have Ms. Deidre Merritt at McMichael Middle School, recognized designation. We have Tammy Owens, McMichael Middle School, recognized designation. We have David Schmidt, McMichael Middle School, recognized designation. He's unable to be here tonight. We have Ms. Reagan Holloman, McMichael Middle School, master designation. And I do have to say this one tidbit, board, is that Ms. Reagan Holloman, she was put forth last year with a designation, and so she actually improved her designation this year, becoming a master level designated teacher. So that's a wonderful. Next, we have the high school where Mr. Kevin Croft is principal. We have Ashley DeMarcadesian, recognized designation. I was listening. We have Christopher Moody, high school recognized designation. We have Hannah Hendricks, high school exemplary designation. Ms. Elise Meyer, high school exemplary designation. Don Pierce, high school exemplary designation. We have Whitney McClellan, high school exemplary designation. She is unable to be here tonight. And we have Amy Chisholm, master level designation, high school. And last but definitely not least, we have Ms. Penny Long, high school master level designation. So again, board, the teacher, the incentive allotment gives teacher an accessible pathway to earning higher income while remaining in the classroom, obviously with the hopes of making a greater difference in the lives of our Texas students. And so the goal is to elevate the profession, allow districts to celebrate their teachers with the compensation and recognition through the teacher designation. So again, if everybody give these wonderful teachers a round of applause, and so for the great work that they do day in and day out. So thank you. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yay! Good job, good job. Woo. Proud and proud.
Now let's make it on to me, but I do have to add that this year's combined generated allotment for our Nacogdoches teachers was $346,417, and so that money is definitely well spent on our teachers and for the work that they do impacting the lives of our children. So, absolutely. So, Dr. Hill, Dr. Wells, Ashley, Dr. Corley, if you want to come in and jump in this picture for, again, to highlight the work that you all put into this great effort and this initiative. So, come on up, come on up.
Teachers.
People. Okay, on three. 1, 2, 3.
Way to go, guys.
Mr. Whitaker, while you are there, inform us of the Teacher of the Year.
Yes, sir, and if I may, I would like to call Mr. Z on up to kind of help me and assist me with these awards.
All right, one day I aspired to be as tall as Mr. Whitaker. I don't know that genetics gave me that option, but here we are. Good afternoon, President Nearmond, board members, and Interim Superintendent Myers. Mr. Whitaker and I are very excited today to present to you our Teachers of the Year. It is very rare that people get an email from me that's exciting anymore, and so this was one of them that I was pretty excited that I got to send out. As I call your name, we ask that you come forward, and then at the end of it, we're going to actually announce our district elementary and district secondary teacher of the year. And so, families, I know this is a really big thing. This is an exciting thing. School families as well. Please make sure you position yourself, however necessary, to get yourself a golden photo. So at this time, if I can have Jessica May from Brooks Quinn Jones. Kanaya Rhodes from Carpenter, who I don't believe was able to be here tonight. Stephanie Harrison from Fredonia. Michelle Taylor from Mike Moses Elementary. Jack Adams the Fourth. Tamala Taylor, TJR. Theodore Baldwin, McMichael Middle School. Mark Umpumfo from NHS. And while these two could not be with us tonight, according to these notes that Mr. Whitaker prepared for me, if they are, please come on up. But Ashley Higgins from Margie Chumley Academy for Success, and Dina Cox from DAEP. If you'll give them a round of applause, just because it's a great opportunity. All right, now the time is to announce our District Teachers of the Year. We are happy to announce that Jack Adams IV will be our Elementary Teacher of the Year. And for the Secondary Teacher of the Year, congratulations to Mr. Mark Umpumfo. All right, you got to wait for a photo. Oh, no, that's all you, man.
All right, on three. 1, 2, 3.
One last round of applause.
Way to go! All right.
Mr. Whitaker,
Apples, apples, apples.
you're not finished yet.
No, sir, I believe not.
And K. Wallace Award.
Thank you again, President Neermond, board members, and Superintendent Interim Dr. Myers. I believe for almost nearly 2 decades, Nacogdoches ISD has had the privilege of presenting the Ann K. Wallace Award for Excellence in Teaching. This award is given annually by the children of Miss Ann K. Wallace in recognition for outstanding dedication to the instruction of students, NISD students, and in recognition of exceptional teaching performance. Quick fact, Ms. Ann K. Wallace taught for the district at Regay Elementary from 1960 until her retirement in June of 1978. So wonderful opportunity. I had the wonderful opportunity to visit with her children and learning more about Ms. Ann K. Wallace over the years. And so this is kind of the first time we've done this at tonight's board meeting, so the winner does not know who they are. And so for this year's 24-25 year's Ann K. Wallace Award for Excellence in Teaching, that goes to Miss Elise Meyer. If Mr. Kevin Crawford, if you come on up as well to take a picture. And so this is presented to you. This will hang in the halls of the District Support Center for years to come, and recognizing you as this year's award winner for this award. So. And if you did not know, there is a cash prize associated with that, giving annually by the children of Ms. Ann K. Wallace. So if you would like to stop by the District Support Center and the Human Resources Department, we can get you that check tomorrow. So again, congratulations again. Thank you so much. Thank you, board.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Okay, at this time, we have interim superintendent announcements and report. Dr.
Evening.
Myers, is yours time.
My time. Evening, Board. 8 NISD musicians from McMichael Middle School and Nacogdoches High School have received scholarships from Pilgrims to attend Stephen F. Austin State University Summer Band Camp. The scholarships range from $175 to $525 and will help students cover the cost of tuition and housing, meals, and so forth during the week-long camp. The annual camp hosted by SFA, the School of Music, offers young musicians the opportunity to improve their skills work with college-level instructors, and perform a final showcase concert. The band camp will take place this summer at SFA in Nacogdoches, drawing hundreds of young musicians from across the state. I know that the Fine Arts Department and at both McMichael and the high school are grateful for Pilgrim's generosity. 88 of our career and technology education students at Nacogdoches High School, many of them who you saw this evening, signed letters of commitment to attend the college of their choice or trade school of their choice at CET signing day, or CTE signing day rather, on Tuesday at the Malcolm Rector Center. Signing day is for CET students who are already secured with a job or moving into the field of their study or accepted a college, university, or technical school or branch of the military. This is a wonderful event. If you haven't ever been, I encourage you to go. It was a very moving, very good, great event. We have several kids that are going into the military and so forth, so we're very proud of them. 4 of Nacogdoches High School students are headed to the state competition in UIL academics. The Class 5A state meet will be next Monday and Tuesday at the University of Texas at Austin. Mark Cifuentes is the regional champion in news writing. Jabrandon Chapman finished 3rd at the regionals and is advancing to in prose speaking. Heidi Nichols finished 3rd at the regionals and is advancing in feature writing. Justin Phillips finished 3rd at regionals and is advancing in current events. And Justin is the defending 5A state champion for current events. So that's a pretty good performance for Nacogdoches ISD at UIL academics. Last Thursday night, 1 week ago, I had the opportunity to attend the Nacogdoches ISD Education Foundation Scholars Banquet at the Fredonia Hotel. This was a great event, and it cast Nacogdoches in the Nacogdoches Education Foundation and Nacogdoches ISD in the best light possible. The top 20 graduates were there for the class of 2025. They were recognized at the banquet, and each of those students honored the most influential teacher they had during their time at Nacogdoches ISD. It is truly an uplifting event to see these students and hear them describe the impact that teachers have had on their lives, and then to hear the teachers describe the impact that those students have had on their lives as well. So it's very uplifting. The event was very well planned, and the videos were great. The pacing was absolutely perfect. Dr. Mike Moses was there. He came to the banquet from out of town and visited, and I know he was greatly impressed with it as well. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Erin Wyndham to the podium, and Ms. Wyndham is our district's community engagement liaison and executive director of the Education Foundation. And thanks to the generosity of Mr. Bill Elliott, he has committed $500,000 in matching funds for fundraising in the Education Foundation. So I believe Ms. Wyndham has some news for us, so I'll turn it over to her.
Good afternoon, President Neermond, board members, and Interim Superintendent Myers. I tell you what, I'm going to get straight to the point. I'm going to read an email that I received 2 days ago. It says, let me tell you, I've read this a million times to make sure it's real. Our trustees have met to review recent grant requests. I'm pleased to share that they approved your grant in the full amount of $350,000. We're excited for the work you all are leading and thrilled to be able to offer support. Official notices and a grant contract will be sent in the coming weeks. Thank you for all you do. This is from the Moody Foundation.
Wonderful.
And this money, can y'all hear me? This money is earmarked specifically for enhancing programs in CTE. And Mr. Lucina over there and I worked to write this grant. There's various things. I cannot wait for the press release so that you get all the details. We're waiting for guidance from the Moody Foundation to be able to actually release it officially. But in addition to that $350,000 grant that we'll be able to support CTE with, I called Mr. Elliott that evening and told him about the email, and he can't wait to get us those matching funds. So all told, what he set out to do, to challenge us with the $500,000 match, we raised about 165, something like that, before we got this email. There's still some accounting to do, but we've definitely met that $500,000 challenge.
Wonderful.
And the great thing about that is, I mean, he wants to match these funds. He's verbally said he'd like to do it again. The best part of it is this money goes directly to help teachers in their classrooms. They get to apply for funds to be able to do innovative programs, to try something outside the box without dipping into their own pockets. And this is just year 3 in its existence, our foundation. So I cannot wait to see where all this is going to go and track the growth and the goals that we've set. We gave to Moody to go along with this grant. I cannot wait to share with you. One of them was we were going to increase the number of CTE signers to 82. Well, he graduated 88 the other day, so we get to go back and tell him, hey, we already met that first growth measure. We'd like to see every kid come across that stage at CTE signing, that they're continuing in their pathway for higher ed, for military, for technical school, or employment. It's very encouraging to know that our community has bought into the foundation and the way it's changing the way that teachers teach, the way we get to honor our top 20 and their favorite teachers. I could go on, but it's already been a long evening, but I sure appreciate your support. I'm sorry, board, you didn't get to attend Thursday night. Ms. Brady got to. We were so blessed to have you, but I would tell you, there's many in this room who I know have given, who have supported the foundation, and who are into what's happening, so I just can't wait to report back how all of this goes from here.
Ms. Wyndham, I know how active you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a fabulous board, I will tell you that. The foundation board is
They
great.
sure are good people, too. Thank you.
Thank you. The last thing I have on my report is I'll try to belay some issues with the library books if I can, and describe our process that we went through as far as compliance with state statutes. And I'll do it in a bulleted method, so you can kind of see the process as we went through it. NISD received a library audit complaint back on March the 12th of 2025 regarding a list of books that were supposedly not in compliance with the Reader Act in 2023, and the complaint was still open when I arrived here. I instructed Dr. Hill and Mr. Croft, the high school principal, to take a look at the audit list and determine if in fact we were or were not in compliance over in the high school library. And Dr. Hill had gone over and took a look and determined that indeed we weren't in compliance in some areas. I've checked a list with other school districts that had conducted library audits and banned books to ensure that the books were on the list that were on the list were actually legitimate books that we needed to look at. And they were. In an abundance of caution and due to the fact that state statutes or state laws supersede our board district policy, I directed Dr. Hill and Mr. Croft to place those books in question on a reserved reading section to ensure that we weren't violating state law and to expedite that, and to accelerate the vetting of those books so that when we're ready to start vetting those, we can. And my goal is to complete that vetting, or at least have it somewhat completed prior to the arrival of the new superintendent. The books in the reserved reading section will each be vetted by a committee consisting of the high school librarian, administrators, and parents during the summer months. Those books deemed to conform to state law will be placed back on the general library stacks prior to the beginning of next school year. Books deemed to be in violation of state law will remain on the reserved reading section rather than being removed from the library. Once this process is complete, the books that are remaining on the reserved section will be posted on the website, and parents may request that their students be allowed to read the reserved books either individually or at their will. Please know that in no way is or the NISD administration or the school board in favor of banning books. Any of the books that are on the list. However, if they don't comply with state law, then they will be put on the reserved list. Our sole purpose for this exercise is to ensure that we address the complaint, we're in accordance with state law, while retaining the rights of parents to allow them to have their access of their children to those books. We believe that it's the parents' right for that child to be able to read books if they so deem it's appropriate for them. So with that said, those books that are on the reserve shelf after all the books have been vetted are there for students to read if the parents so deem so, and they believe it's appropriate for their child. No books have left the library, no books are going to leave the library. They're all still there. That's all I had, President Neerman.
Thank you. We are now in a portion of public comments, and those requesting to speak to the board during the public comments made their request by 4 p.m. today, as published on the meeting notice. The time limit for each presenter is 3 minutes, and Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Michael Martin, will take time. First one is Ann Keenan.
Do you think I need the microphone, or should I have to speak loudly?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Ann Keenan. I live at 609 East Hospital Street. And I wanted to respond some to what Mr. Myers said, because I had a speech written out. But I'm still a little confused, and I hope I can get this clarified. House Bill 900, that's the Reader Act, correct? Stated that there was a January 2025 deadline for schools to look at make a list of books that met a certain criteria. But that was put on hold because of a lawsuit by the vendors. So there's no way to make a list of books, and the January 2025 deadline does not apply anymore. I spoke with Wendy Woodland at the Texas Library Association, and she told me that the only requirement for schools at this point with the House Bill 900 was that they develop a collection development policy consistent with the one that the Texas Library Association has put out. So I don't think there's a deadline that we've missed, and I don't think there's a list of books from the state. I keep hearing of lists of books, and I don't find it anywhere that the state has come up with a list of books. There may be one somewhere that somebody else has. I don't know what's happened that caused this to happen in the schools if we're not in non-compliance with House Bill 900. I suspect that maybe somebody from outside the district, maybe people with political agendas, I don't know, have come and tried to do things. Apparently not. Apparently somebody just happened to look, now that it's May, and realized we were out of compliance and took quick action at the last minute. I don't know what happened. But I'm concerned that in the general public, there is the idea that things are happening behind closed doors and that the district can't be trusted. That's the feeling in the community. And so I hope that moving forward, that you communicate with the teachers. High school teachers didn't even know this was happening. A high school English teacher should know what's happening with the books in their school before it happens. And that's not happening. Things are just happening, and people are finding out about it through rumors and on Facebook. So my ask for you is to develop good, strong policies using the resources you have of those wonderful teachers. Have committees develop policies that are consistent with law, that are in the best interest of your school and your students, and then publicize those where everyone can see them. And then follow through. If somebody, you will make somebody mad, I guarantee you, on divisive issues. You will have half the community mad at you for something or other, but don't let that fear change what you do or make you do something at the last minute or impulsively. Do what you know and what you've already decided is best for your kids, and the community will support you, even if they don't always like it. So thank you for all the work that you do. I don't think I said everything I wanted to, but there you go. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate those of you that responded to me this week.
Next is Mary McCleary.
Thank you, Board. Thank you, teachers, for all that you do for our kids, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. All collections are curated. That's it. It encompasses everything from baseball cards to old master paintings. A library is a curated selection. It's never going to be able to handle all the books in the whole world that have ever been published. There are always choices. When a school cafeteria serves lunch, we assume it will be healthy food, that it's not poison. And when a school library offers a book, it's telling a student that we approve and that the book will help you become a better person and it will help you with your life. And it also represents a higher standard than you may find on your own when you're scrolling through TikTok. And it's not poison. Instead, it'll nourish your mind, your soul, your spirit, and it will give you hope. I have read at least portions of about 80% of the books on the removal list. I don't agree with every choice. I say keep the Vonnegut, keep Ray Bradbury, and even Nabokov. But so many of the books, with few exceptions, are poorly written and poorly illustrated. They're cranked out, third-rate, agenda-driven, not artful literature. Don't we want better for our kids? Many of these are sleazy, trashy, and maybe even worse, they're dark and hopeless. I believe that some of my friends who are concerned about banning books don't really know the content of many of these books. When so many of our young people are already addicted to porn, and I'm sure you know the statistics, you can't tell me that it's healthy for our kids to read more of it in school. It's poison regardless of where you find it. Moving books to a separate area in our library is more or less conforming to the law that was passed 2 years ago, as well as a new law that's just passed the House and Senate, and that new law has more teeth in it. It's good to see our school system obeying the law. It sets a good example for our kids. And I trust that the board will also look into objectionable books on other campuses. There's some in the middle school and even in our elementary schools. Probably more important, the board needs to look at how those books got into our campus libraries in the first place. I understand that usually the books arrive in bundles with other books sent by Scholastic, and that the librarian accepts all or nothing. The company doesn't have a very good track record as late. There are better ways and sources for selecting our books, and we need to use them. And we need personnel who know how to do that and who really love good books. Just a word about the Bluebonnet curriculum, because I wasn't here the other day. There's a lot grumbling about the few Bible stories included in it. Is cultural literacy only for a select few? The Bible is the foundational document of Western civilization. How do you think we're going to understand Rembrandt or Michelangelo without it, or Bach or Faulkner, or even world history? Now, not every child gets this at home. Some of them will have to get it at school.
Ms.
And who will
McCord,
teach them?
your time is expired.
I'll finish up. This inheritance is for all.
No, you can't, ma'am.
This is an inheritance for all of our children. Don't deprive them of their inheritance.
I'm sorry. Next is Mr. Ronald Lott.
Board members, thank you for accepting our comments tonight. I'll try to go quickly because 3 minutes is not much time. So I really don't see what the big problem is with removing some of these books from the school library. And quite honestly, after the comment, if some of you aren't in favor of absolutely banning some of these books, maybe you do need to go look at them actually and read them. Maybe you'll change your mind, and if not, then maybe I'll become more politically active. I don't know. We restrict young, one of the arguments is it violates their civil rights and their constitutional rights. That's total bogus. I mean, we restrict young people's rights all the time. Teachers do it every day. If you didn't restrict their right to freedom of speech, you'd never be able to teach a class because you couldn't make them stop talking. If you didn't restrict their right to freedom of assembly, you'd never have a class time because they would have one assembly organized after another all day long, and you wouldn't even have class time. We restrict their ability to do things like young people can't go to NC-17 movies. They can't buy alcohol, drugs, tobacco, firearms, motorcycles, cars. They can't get a marriage license, a driving license, and other things that only adults get to access. Why? I think everybody can agree it's because their minds are very malleable. They're very susceptible to others' opinions. And they just haven't matured enough to make rational decisions that can have lifelong consequences. If you disagree with that, well then I think that's the reason that minors can't really engage in a contract in the state of Texas, because they have the ability to change their mind later and rescind the contract, and the person on the other side is left holding the bag, okay? So this isn't a new idea, a procedure, or mandate. As far back as 2002, state education protocols dictated that library content was supposed to be comprised of material that enhances the curriculum and instructional materials. Obscenity and indecency laws have been in place for much longer, and movie ratings, which is what they're asking for on these books, have been in place since 1930. I think we can do this. Many of the books actually violate the obscenity and decency laws of the state of Texas. Title 9, Chapter 43B, 21A1 of the Texas Penal Code defines obscenity when it states that, in this subchapter, obscene means material or a performance that the average person, applying contemporary community standards, would find taken as a whole appeals to the prurient interest in sex, depicts or describes patently offensive representations or descriptions of ultimate sexual acts, normal or perverted, actual or simulated. And I won't go on with that because we've got some young people sitting out here that are really young, and I don't care to read the rest of that. The state penal code goes on to define that material means anything tangible that is capable of being used or adapted to arouse interest, whether through the medium of reading, observation, sound, or in any other manner. I think this is simple. It's not in the purview of a school board or administrators or even a librarian to interpret the laws of the state of Texas. There are other entities in place to do that. If you want to look at one, go look at a book like Gender Queer that has written descriptions and comic-style pictures that depict things that you wouldn't want to have seen.
Sit down. Thank you for your time.
Next is Rose Phillips.
Good morning. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
I am a senior at Nacogdoches High School. In my first period, I am the one that checks out the books. I walk in the library. Section EFB of the school board policies says for a book to be obscene, the average person would find that the book as a whole appeals to the prurient interest in sex. The books that we have been ordered to pull with no community input are not obscene. These books are not utterly without redeeming social value for minors, whatever that even means. Even when the community as a whole has not been properly informed of the books that have been removed, or as the district says, require parental permission, the only way the community learned about these books being pulled was pictures provided by students posted on the Facebook. Where is the district communication? We have a communications department, but they're not telling us why they're doing these. Why did we have to learn from students posting images? Why are the students telling their parents what is happening at school? That's inverted. It shouldn't be like that. The district says the books have been moved behind the counter at the NHS library but are still available for students to read pending approval from a parent. Where are the forms? Where is the communication? Where is the community input? Some of the books being pulled, which I repeat, come not from a list that the district has provided to tell parents what's going on in their children's schools, but from images provided by students show the failure in communication from this district. These books, like The Fault in Our Stars, a book about 2 cancer victims falling in love, and yes, there's a small sex scene, but it's not the meaning of the walk as a whole, which is the district's own policy. This all should have been argued, though, when the district asked for community engagement on if these books should be pulled. And why has more precedence been given to one, now let me try and read this right, because she's not a member of our community, Christian Bentley, who has no connection to Nacogdoches, is the state Republican executive committee member for a different Senate district than ours, according to the Daily Sentinel. Why is she given more precedence than the families and taxpayers of the own district? Why is the district acting on the orders of a shadowy figure who seems to come above the people that actually live here? We elected you, not them. You are responsible to us, and I will yield my time because I respect the board's time.
Next is Dr. Heather Olson-Bale.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Heather Olson-Beal. I'm a parent of 3 NHS grads, a local homeowner, a taxpayer, and an education faculty member at SFA. I'm here to address the recent decision to restrict access to books at the behest of someone who doesn't live here and doesn't pay taxes here. In so doing, the district ignored your own board-approved policy, and yes, the state law has been enjoined, so that is not a problem here. Your own board policy for reviewing library materials. Then, when students shared photos of restricted books on social media, you didn't clearly explain what happened or why. You dodged the public's questions, you prevaricated, you sowed seeds of doubt and mistrust. As someone who prepares teachers, I can tell you these decisions have ripple effects. They increase pressure and fear among educators. We have a statewide teacher shortage. My students are watching every day how this district and other districts across the state treat teachers, students, and families when they're deciding where they want to work. Your actions send a clear message to future teachers. Don't come here. We won't support you, and we won't support your students. I have read the entirety of 45 of these restricted books. They are not dangerous or obscene. They are award-winning, age-appropriate books written by respected authors. I conducted an initial content analysis of the restricted books. 45 of 142 of them, about a third, are written by authors of color and or address race and racism. 36 out of 142 are written by LGBTQ plus authors and or address LGBTQ plus themes. These numbers reveal a troubling pattern. Nearly 60% of the now restricted books represent diverse perspectives from communities that have historically here and elsewhere been silenced and marginalized. This is not random. This is bigotry, pure and simple, masquerading as protecting our children. These books were carefully chosen by a skilled, long-time, experienced, highly credentialed librarian. Removing them does real harm and sends a clear message to our kids about whose stories and experience this district values. A large body of peer-reviewed research shows that LGBTQ students with affirming adults, inclusive books, and safe schools show better mental health, better attendance, and higher academic achievement, and that they are less likely to be depressed and to consider suicide. Disproportionately targeting and restricting these books tells vulnerable youth, you don't belong here. Shame on every single person who had a hand in that. We have a choice. Do we want to be a district that embraces and supports all students, or one that harms those who are already vulnerable? Do we want to be a district that caves to outsiders' demands, or one that listens to community members? Our students, our teachers, and our community deserve better from all of you. Do better.
Next is Mr. Greg McIntyre.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for the opportunity to come speak to you tonight. I'm going to make this really brief. I ran for a position here and was not elected. But in one of the 4 events that we had for meeting the candidates, this subject came up one time, and one time only. And I think the way to handle it is the word discernment. You use discernment when you make decisions about a child, what they read, what you make acceptable to them or accessible to them. I have at home a book called The Anarchist Cookbook. This was a point that I made in one of the debates. Now, in the Anarchist Cookbook, there's a recipe on page 45 to take a mousetrap and a 12-gauge shotgun shell to make an improvised explosive device. You would not have that in a library for children. That's not appropriate. Every one of you would discern that that's not appropriate. Sexual content of this type is not appropriate for children. Whereas Faulkner or Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, thank you very much, or Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, two of these books have been removed, as I understand it, or moved to the side. There's no discernible reason to remove those. I read those in junior high school. So use your discernment, be wise in your consideration. And I see more than a few gray hairs here. One of the things I would say is, at what point in your life would these books have been acceptable? When you started school in the late 50s or early 60s, what would have happened here or any other place you've ever been? The 70s or 80s? No. Maybe the last 17 minutes, these books would have been acceptable. And that 17 minutes that has elapsed, that's not exactly a high watermark in human behavior. I'd like you to consider that, please. Thank you very much for your time. Good night.
Thank you. Okay, next is Elaine Lambright.
Good evening. My name is Elaine Lambright. I am a mother and grandmother, a writer and an artist, and a retired educator. Having taught 4 years at junior high level, 18 years at high school level, and 10 years at university level. Only my university teaching was in Nacogdoches. I do not personally know any of the people involved in the issues I am addressing tonight. It is as a concerned community member that I am speaking. I know how easy it is to come from the outside and find fault with situations, especially when one may not be aware of the entire situation. The last thing I would like to do is make any educator's job more difficult. However, there are many rumors and many legitimate questions, and we have not been getting straight answers. I am particularly dissatisfied with the way the district spokesperson has responded to the situation and the way the local media has treated it, not going beyond the most superficial level. In terms of the books being pulled, the list was generated by an outsider with a political agenda. That was never questioned. That person said, "We don't care about the overall artistic or literary merit of these works. We only care about the specific instances we can point our fingers at." That's not how you judge a book's merit. And yet we just blithely went along and pulled those books. Is that how Nacogdoches judges for our children? I think we can do much better. You've already heard that the state law is not even being used at this time, and yet we're blindly going to pre-apply it. We're going to follow a law that is not even being applied. We're going to prejudge books before we have to. There is no list. We're going to accept an outsider's list that follows an agenda. We've had no communication with parents. We've not answered emails. We've not answered legitimate questions. We're going to pull these books, and if a student might like to read one of these books, We don't plan to have a list of books in the library that they could see these books even exist. They would have to go to the district website to see that these books exist. Why don't we just make it impossible for them to access the books? But oh no, we're not banning the books. We're just making it virtually impossible for a child. That was a child who came up and spoke? Thank you.
I called the names on the order. Did I miss Jamie Gibson?
That's when they're back.
Y'all hear me? Beautiful.
Yes, go ahead.
Beautiful. Good evening. Ramona Blue was my favorite book character in middle school. The Kite Runner, I read I read in English class this year. The prose of Where the Crawdads Sing inspires my writing to this day. Slaughterhouse-Five, The Hate You Give, Dear Evan Hansen, The Fault in Our Stars. Every book mentioned, along with dozens of others, I, Jamie Gibson, as an NHS student, was put to the task of pulling from our library shelves in April. A demand from not Ms. Schultz, our librarian, but from someone above, a shadowy figure, if you will. Did any of these books mentioned make me gay or transgender? Did they turn me into a violent activist or a recluse living in a radical cult in the woods? No. They helped me realize that people who have not experienced the same life as I have are still real people with tangible experiences that are able to feel, eat, laugh, cry, and simply be who they are. These books are fascinating, critically acclaimed, of literary merit, and often aren't really a social commentary at all, but simply a perspective that isn't the default for the members of this school board, or even students in Nacogdoches ISD. I know that I can't relate to their content most of the time, but stories about Black people, about other people of color, about gay people, strong women and vulnerable men, and everyone and everything in between are the reality for many of my school and every high school students. The NHS library is easily the most accessible way to obtain books for NAC high school students. It may be the only outlet some students have to read. With public interest in literature and libraries steadily falling year by year, we cannot censor and cherry pick what books we allow students to read. If we take away potentially offensive materials in schools with growing young adults, we leave even less room for novels that might interest the students of Nacogdoches. If one book is censored and not another, where do we draw the line? What is acceptable? When will we, as students, stop being sheltered by the school boards and other adults' fear of mature themes or politics? Ultimately, cultural literacy is a valuable skill for anyone to have. Banning, restricting, or in any way limiting access to books with alternative perspectives and so-called harmful content shelters the youth in our community and stifles room for discussion and the broadening of perspectives in students of all races, genders, backgrounds, identities, and social groups. Thank you.
Next is Brandy Cartwright.
I'm Brandy Cartwright. Like many people before me have stated, the fact that the district is doing this without a law being in place, but claiming a law is making them do it, is really, really concerning to me as a parent and as a citizen. But we've heard all these comments, so I'm going to speak to process. I've heard that the principal And you say that the district will be going through the reconsideration process for the books on this list this summer. So it sounds like there will be banning in the future. And stating that the district is against banning is disingenuous. I am here to ask that you make our district's reconsideration policy extremely transparent. A volunteer committee, which is what I've heard talked about for reconsideration of these books, is very concerning and not appropriate at all. There should be an established practice with clearly defined guidelines about who can be chosen. Does it have to be a parent, a NAC citizen, this Republican lady from the Smith County? Citizens should be on the committee, but it should not only include these concerned citizens, but people with expertise in the materials, which includes librarians, teachers, and even young adults. And we should be able to know who is on these committees. These decisions should be in the open. Also, in many libraries, it is standard practice that a request for reconsideration is one book, and the person who wants it removed has to have read that book completely and be able to discuss it holistically. I would like an answer from the district for the following questions. Does the district allow multiple large numbers of books to be challenged at a time by one person? Does this person have to live in the district? Can somebody come from, can the list come from someone outside the district? And where can we see who is on a committee to reconsider a book, and how is that committee chosen? We trust our teachers to prepare our students to be engaged and informed members of society. Tonight, we saw students who have worked hard to have jobs. They're going to be adults in just a month or two. We must give space for the educational process and even the recreational process to allow a broad variety of ideas and views. Some ideas and books will conflict with our views, but without these ideas, how will our kids even learn where they stand and what ideas are out there to be for or against? Research shows that reading helps to develop empathy and foster connection with people who have views who differ from our own. Access to the library and to books of all kinds is important.
Ma'am. Next is Greg Irvin.
Howdy, y'all. Where to begin? Okay. BLM is, BLC, I'm sorry, is one step above the Florida happy slaves learning life skills. That's what you decided to buy. Don't pretend otherwise. This woman is a bully, and you rolled over. No, you're just lying to us. It's flat out simple. You're telling us there's a law, and there's obviously no law. You're telling us that you've had since March from an email to do something about that? No, didn't happen, did it? This woman's a nobody. Somebody up here, I don't know. It's real obvious to figure out. Somebody's got an agenda. A couple of you got an agenda. You're going to drag us into court over this nonsense, and we're going to end up paying money. Oh, they never do jail time. You know better than that. We do not support this. If you wanted to make these books unavailable, no, you should have made the books available to everyone. And if a parent chose not to have that child have a book, then they come in. Not condemn them all. That's innocence, presumption of innocence, you know? I'm just going to step down. Y'all have a great day.
Next is Pam Wheeler.
In the beginning, there was only darkness, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear, and it was so. Then God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, let the waters teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth." Then God created humanity in his own image.
This wording is found in the Bluebonnet Kindergarten Reading and Language Arts Unit. It states, in today's lesson, students will learn about art that was inspired by the famous account of the creation of Earth by hearing excerpts from Genesis. Not story, not fable, not myth, but account, implying factual content. This material's location, randomly wedged between lessons on Aztec pottery and Van Gogh, further contributes to the idea that the creation story is factual, as all of the other material in that unit. Proponents of the curriculum say that the materials contain little Christian content, but there are similar units in the language arts lesson plans for all grades through grade 5. It is unfortunate that the demonstrations are taking place in Birmingham, but it is even more unfortunate that the city's white power structure left the Negro community no alternative. In a 5th grade unit on Martin Luther King's letter from the Birmingham jail, the redacted reader provided to students only contains the first half of that sentence. The lessons continue with multiple readings from the book of Daniel, while it goes on to state that the unjust laws mentioned in Dr. King's letter are defined as those that are against the 10 Commandments, not those that result in civil rights injustices. In discussions about fighting unjust laws, teachers are to instruct the students that responses should, and I quote, emphasize that Dr. King also believed that the people who fought against the unjust laws should be prepared to accept the lawful consequences of their actions, without covering the fact that those consequences are often violent and unlawful. The NISD guidelines for the selection of instructional materials states that materials should meet high standards for factual content and should present various sides of controversial issues. The Bible has not been proven to be factual, and the altered lesson on the civil rights movement does not represent the whole issue for critical analysis. The problem of the curriculum to some people is that other religions are not equally representative. But my issue is that any religion used in secular school curriculum is illegal indoctrination. Students should only be taught facts and accurate portrayals of history, and no religious content whatsoever is needed to do so. The curriculum materials for Bluebonnet are easily accessible to the public for review. I urge the board to reconsider adoption of this curriculum and present the option to the community to review those materials. Thank you.
Next is Mr. Brent Beal.
Good evening, y'all. Brent D. Beal, parent of 3 NHS grads, local taxpayer. I think I speak for all of us. It's really nice to have adults back in charge, both locally and in the White House. Such a breath of fresh air. I don't know about y'all, but I'm so tired of all the liberals here in the back with their anything goes mentality and their our kids should read books garbage. We need real men, real parents. Parents aren't afraid to stand up and say what others are too scared to admit out loud. Books are the problem. Books have always been the problem. I know it's not on the agenda tonight, but I want to salute whoever had the courage, and by courage I mean the very large and impressive cojones, to restrict access to The Fault in Our Stars. I remember reading that book, Cancer, Love, Loss, Existential Questions. It's real, it's honest. It's a stunningly beautiful novel. I'm going to confess something here. I hope you all will indulge me. The book made me cry. I cried in front of my daughters and my son. This is the first time I've admitted that in public. I take responsibility for that. I will have to live with the shame of that every day. That's on me. So yeah, that's a dangerous book. We need to do all we can to keep that book away from our kids. If you want your parents, if you're a kid in high school, if you want your parents to think you're at a friend's house when you're not, you leave your iPhone with that GPS tracking garbage in your friend's mailbox, and then, my friends, you are free to roam. Don't pretend you haven't done it. If you want to look at porn, you do it on your friend's iPhone in a private browser window, and then you help them clear the cache. What you do not do, and this is important, is go to the school library. You stay away from the library. That's where the real moral collapse happens. It might be too late for me. Our kids are gone. One is a lawyer, She's clerking at the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans. One is getting a PhD in sociology at Johns Hopkins. Our youngest is about to graduate from Columbia. I can't tell you how many nights my wife and I have laid awake wondering how different things might have been if only we had fought harder to keep our kids from reading books. Like I said, it's too late for us, but there are still kids out there to protect. Let's make this clear, and this is what liberals just don't get. Books are the real threat. Books are the original gateway drug. The first hit might be free, maybe a little Harry Potter, maybe a little To Kill a Mockingbird, and the next thing you know, they're questioning authority and developing empathy. We simply cannot let that happen. Obviously, we need God back in schools and Texas values, wide open spaces, big hats, big trucks, big freedoms. Okay, so maybe not the freedom to read books at school, or protest the killing of women and children in Gaza, or to kneel during the national anthem. But the point is, we have to protect our kids and God and freedom. I salute you. We all salute you. Years from now, these kids will thank us for the books we kept them from reading. Let's all remember that. God bless.
Next is Shay Reynolds.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Shay Runnels, and I stand before you tonight as a proud alumna of Nacogdoches High School, along with my husband Scott, our son Nick. Today, we're also NISD parents. Our children attend schools here. My eldest daughter, Reese, is a senior at NHS. She would have been here tonight, except she is performing in the school show, but I know that she would be so proud of her friends, Jamie and Rose, tonight. I'm here because I am deeply concerned about the recent decision to restrict access to over 100 books in the high school library. And while these books have not been removed, requiring parental permission to check them out without following the district's own review and reconsideration policy is an alarming overreach. And let me pause here from my prepared remarks to say that I am a daughter of an artist, two artists, that didn't restrict books in the household. I am a person of faith, and my faith is central to who I am. It shapes my values, my parenting, my deep commitment to this community. But I also believe that faith is personal, not prescriptive. I am troubled by efforts to impose a narrow belief system on all students, especially when doing so infringes on the rights of others and stifles intellectual growth. I mentioned my daughter Reese, who was distraught when she heard about this restriction. Like many students, she finds meaning, challenge, and sometimes even comfort in books that reflect a broad spectrum of human experience. And these are not just controversial books, they are award-winning books. And by the way, my daughter has been accepted to many, many very good schools, and that was because she was able to write an essay that reflected her love of reading. The American Library Association's Bill of Rights affirms that libraries should provide materials representing all points of view, and no person's access should be denied because of their age, background, or beliefs. Restricting these titles undercuts that mission. Furthermore, the Texas House Bill 900 does not mandate this level of restriction, and I could go on, but you've heard it before from other people. I want you to follow your own policies. I want you to trust the educators and Mrs. Schultz because they know what they are doing. Let's teach our kids how to think, not what to think.
And next is Mr. Tim Garrigan. Is he here? Okay. If Mr. Garrigan is not here, then that ends our public comment. We go into, tonight we have one report and a School Health Advisory Council yearly update. Mr. Murray Tarvin, Assistant Superintendent.
Good evening, President.
Yes.
Good evening, President Nearmont, board members, Dr. Meyer. We get to talk this time about our shack and what the shack did for this past year. This is something we do yearly, and so I'm proud to bring it back to you all. So we took care of the business that we had to take care of. There are some legal requirements involved with SHAC, and this is part of it. One of them is review the SHAC bylaws, and the other is the election of a co-chair. So we wanted to make sure we hit those mandates. Then we had a number of presentations through the 4 meetings throughout this year. The role of SHAC by Ruby Ramon, student nutrition was brought in, Miss Lori Stamper. We had the fitness testing with Gary Dial, safe and supportive schools with Susan De La Rosa. We brought in Nurse Nita Reynolds to talk about our nursing program and what all they provide. And then we reviewed our school health survey that we need to turn into the state each and every year. We did have a presentation from the Family Crisis Center by Mr. Stuart Burson, talking to us about some of the things that they can do for NAC ISD if we wanted to have them do them. Then we had, throughout the meetings, we had a number of updates. We had Dr. Corley come and talk to us about the health curriculum. We had an update about T-Chat, which is the Texas Child Access through Telemedicine, and what we're doing with NAC ISD in that. We had our safe and supportive schools and our behavior threat assessments were talked about by Mrs. De La Rosa. We had Ms. Nita Reynolds come through again and visit with us about all the things that the nursing program has been doing and shared some numbers with them, which honestly is very impressive. And then we had an update on our fitness testing. And again, for those who may not know this, but we have to report our fitness testing to the state each and every year. So we wanted to go and let the SHAC know about where we were in that process.
Mr. Tarvin, only if we report the physical fitness portion of it or any other?
I'm sorry, could you ask me that one more time?
Is that, what do we report to TEA?
So through this physical fitness program, they don't have a specific, we're doing push-ups, sit-ups, and those type of things. They have a number of different items that we can choose from to measure. I do not have those in front of me at this time, but we make sure that we hit those things throughout. The other thing that we need to understand about the fitness program is we don't just test our athletes or our PE classes. We test any class that deals with PE, quote unquote. So we test our band members, we test our cheerleading, we test our dragonettes. They're all part of this process of testing.
In other words, my question ultimately is, we have report to TEA what we had to do.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you. Any question, board? If not,
Thank you all.
Okay, now we're in a consent agenda. Unless removed from consent agenda, all items listed will be acted on with one motion. If there is a board member who wishes to discuss an item on the consent agenda separately, please indicate the agenda letter. It will be set aside for further discussion and a separate vote. Board, is there any questions?
President Nurman, I would like to make a motion that C1 be moved off of consent agenda for later consideration.
7C.
7C.
Oh, I'm in the wrong, yeah. Sorry. 7C.
7C items will be pulled out for
The
future,
IXL learning, yeah.
for
Later.
later.
consideration.
Okay. For that, I ask for a motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda with the exception of item 7C1 as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. We have one item for discussion, portion of agenda is first reading of revised local policy DC employment practice, and presenter would be our interim superintendent, Dr. Myers.
In your package, you have a copy of that proposed policy as requested by the officers of the board, and this is the first reading of that. Essentially, what the policy does, it takes back the sole authority from the superintendent for hiring and places that authority back to the board for people who are going to be receiving administrator contracts or dual assignment contracts, with the superintendent retaining the authority for teacher contracts and below. So this is the first reading of that policy.
It's 2 readings required.
I'm sorry?
2 of them are required.
Okay, Court?
We don't need a motion for this tonight, though. Amended.
We don't need a motion, do we?
No.
Okay. All right. With this, I ask a motion for adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. We adjourn.